Those are your headlines for the hour, but we start in Lebanon before looking at the wider conflict, when the Iran-backed proxy group Hezbollah has welcomed the appointment of Mojtaba Khamenei as Iran's new supreme leader. The selection follows the killing of his father and predecessor Ali Khamenei in US-Israeli attacks. In a statement, the group extended congratulations and renewed its pledge of loyalty. Hezbollah emphasized steadfastness in following Iran's leadership and its blessed approach. The group entered the Middle East conflict last week by launching attacks on Israel in retaliation for Ali Khamenei's death. Joining us now on this story is Keith Vaz. He's a former British minister. He joins us live from Dubai. Keith, thank you very much for joining us. First of all, I hope you are keeping safe there in the UAE. Second of all, of course, Hezbollah has opened a new conflict in this war, a renewed conflict with Israel in particular. Now the group congratulating Iran on the appointment of its new supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei's son. What are your thoughts on this development, and how might we see the new recognition of the new supreme leader affect this war?
Good afternoon, Thomas. Actually, I have left Dubai, you'll be pleased to know, getting on one of the last Emirates flights. And I went to Chicago for the funeral of the Reverend Jesse Jackson, and I'm now in London. So I feel quite safe here in talking to you. Right. The situation, Thomas, is obviously very, very complex. I would not have expected Hezbollah not to welcome the appointment of a new supreme leader. These two groups and this country are very well entrenched in respect of their relationship. What is important, I think, is to see what is happening on a regional basis and whether or not any further impact is being made. The quick war that I think Donald Trump usually likes, such as Venezuela, such as what happened the last time they bombed Iran and the nuclear facilities, is not going to happen. This is a country that is quite entrenched. I'm less able to understand why they keep firing drones at the UAE and Qatar. And at the same time, they've obviously given safe passage to the Qataris to allow Qatar Airways to take passengers out of Doha. So there is clearly a dialogue going on between the Iranians and also the Gulf countries. There's no question of that. Where that will lead, I don't know. They have not formally declared war against Iran, and they are not formally bombing Iran. They seem to be taking defensive action. When I was in Dubai and in Sharjah, it was very clear that the arguments put forward by the Iranians was they were firing at American bases, and the reason why you got interceptions was to stop the ballistic missiles going there.
Yeah, thank you very much, Keith. Do stay with us. David K. Johnston also joins us. He's an author and journalist. He's joining us live from New York. So David, Iran have a new supreme leader. Now we're seeing celebrations line the streets in Iran, and of course Hezbollah there responding with congratulations towards the Iranian regime as well. How significant is this leadership transition for Iran's regional strategy and its strategy in the war?
Well, how competent and effective the second son of Khamenei will prove to be is going to take some time. You can be sure that based on the statements of Pete Hegseth, that the U.S. military is using signals intelligence to try and hunt him down and kill him, because the United States, in a significant change in military policy, has announced that we're now in the business of killing heads of state. Policy that can certainly backfire on you. And we shouldn't be surprised that Hezbollah, and I'm sure Hamas in time, will endorse this, because the Iranian government is their patron. So they're dependent on keeping themselves in the good graces of Tehran, whatever its condition is.
Indeed. Keith, going back to you, regional stability, Donald Trump long pushing for peace in the Middle East. Of course, that was his tagline with his Gaza peace deal. But now, as we've seen, 13 in total countries participate in this conflict, whether it be as an aggressor or just subject to certain attacks. 13 countries have now been involved. What are key triggers here in terms of red lines, mainly by these Gulf countries that have been struck by the Iranians after American assets are, of course, in the region? What do you think is going to, if this is going to cause this war to expand?
Well, I thought, Thomas, that if you stop the ships going up the Strait of Hormuz and into the past the strait and out into the Arabian Sea, that would be a red line, which is about to be crossed. And it isn't. It isn't a red line, even though President Macron, I'm not sure what it's got to do with the French, to be perfectly frank, to coin a pun there. The fact is, why is he announcing that he's going to send ships to defend Cyprus? Why is he escorting ships down the Strait of Hormuz? This seems to be completely out of control now. Everyone seems to be either being trying to please Washington or please Iran. I think that this is going to be a tremendously messy conflict because nobody knows whose side they're on. In the case of the UK, as you know, Keir Starmer started off by saying, you can't use our bases. Then he said, you could use our bases. Then he said, we don't want a third world war. So it's difficult to know where everyone stands. But what's very clear is that there's no unity, that the two perpetrators remained locked together. That's Israel and the United States. And the main subject of this attack, which is Iran, is not got any formal allies apart from Hezbollah, but I would imagine they've got a number of informal allies, Russia, China, because the Chinese would lose the most if the strait is closed. 10% of all the oil that goes to China goes through the Strait of Hormuz. So this is a journey without maps. We don't know where it's going to lead. What it needs is somebody to say, I am going to broker a peace. It can't be Qatar now, I don't think. In the past it has been. The Saudis are being very quiet. Possibly Turkey, because they don't seem to be part of what's going on here. They've made some very important noises. But maybe Turkey is the country that will step forward and say, we're going to bring everyone together. But somebody will have to do that. And of course, at the end of the day, there has to be a victory for Donald Trump. It's got to be another war that he stopped, even though he started it. Well, so we are only on day 10. I say only. It's quite a long time for a war of this intensity. Iran still stands. It's got a new leader, and they're saying if he is assassinated, more leaders will come up. They certainly have enough people to have their leaders. So it's a very, very complicated state of affairs. But to the consumer, people like us, we're going to have to pay more for our gas and electricity. You in India, for sure, Thomas, when your electricity and gas bill arrives, you will see it's gone up. We in the UK definitely will be paying more. So it's going to be a big economic depression, I think, following what is going on.
Yes. Keith and David, do stay with us. We're turning over to some breaking news, some statements coming from the US president that have just come in